بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد الصادق الوعد الأمين وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان ودعا بدعوتهم إلى يوم الدين وبعد. Hadith number 196 of total hadith that we read so far, and from the chapter of Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy al Munkar, hadith number 11. الحادي عشر عن أبي سعيد الخدري رضي الله تعالى عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: أفضل الجهاد كلمة عدل عند سلطان جائر. رواه أبو داود والترمذي وقال حديث حسن. الثاني عشر عن أبي عبد الله طارق بن شهاب البجلي الأحمسي رضي الله عنه أن رجلا سأل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وقد وضع رجله في الغرز: أي الجهاد أفضل؟ قال: كلمة حق عند سلطان جائر. رواه النسائي بإسناد صحيح. The two hadiths with similar meaning. Hadith number 11 from the authority of Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, may Allah be pleased with him. He reports from the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who said that the best jihad is the words of truth, the words of just words in front of the tyrant ruler. Imam Abu Dawood and Imam Tirmidhi have mentioned this. And the next hadith, similar meaning, from the authority of Abu Abdullah Tariq, the son of Shihab al-Bajali al-Ahmasi, may Allah be pleased with him. He said, a man asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he already placed his feet onto the stirrup. He was sat down on the horse or a camel, is about to go. He said, O Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is the best jihad? Describing the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there are various forms. Which is the best? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, speaking the truth in front of a tyrant ruler. Imam al-Nasai mentioned this and he authenticated the hadith as well. So, from the both hadiths, one thing that we learn, because it's in the chapter of calling towards good and forbidding evil, that a person is always commanded to call towards good. Always commanded to call towards good. And should not worry about the consequences. If you think someone is doing something wrong, and you have the knowledge that the person is doing wrong, that's very important to have the knowledge. Some of the time we think someone is doing something wrong, but the truth of the matter is that that's actually also acceptable. And this is where the problem happens. A lot of people, they say this is wrong. That's according to his understanding. But it might not be wrong. Let me give you an example. Just combining salah in the journey. Okay? So, in one opinion, you should not combine the prayer. We're talking about journeys. But there's so many imams, they say you're allowed to combine salah in the journeys. So now, if you see someone combining the prayer, you say, hey, this is wrong. That's not calling towards good and forbidding evil. That's your ignorance, your jahal. You need to be aware, before you command towards good, before you stop someone from doing the evil, you need to have the knowledge of the evil, the munkar. So once you are aware of the good and you are aware what is munkar, then even if the sultan does it, even if the ruler does it, you have to tell him. It becomes necessary for you to pass the message to him. And the Prophet ﷺ said, that is the afdal jihad. Because you know what it is? You're putting your neck on the line. If you advise the king or the ruler, then there is a possibility that he might not listen to you. And there's a possibility that he will take action. That's why the most difficult, that's the afdal jihad. You are literally putting your neck on the line because there's something could happen to you. And a lot of our scholars go in trouble because of this. If you read the biography of our pious scholars, how many of the people have got in trouble? There was a very pious person, he was advising someone. And when he advised him, so his friend said, look, what are you doing? You know what's going to happen now? He's going to turn around and punish you. He said, doesn't matter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, أَقِيمِ الصَّلَاةَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, establish the prayer. This is the advice of Luqman to his son. Ya bunayya, oh my son, Luqman said, أَقِيمِ الصَّلَاةَ. Establish the prayer. وَأَمُرْ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَنْهَى عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ, and call towards good and forbid evil. And then he said, وَاصْبِرْ عَلَى مَا أَصَابَكَ. And do sabr of what will happen to you after you call towards good and forbid evil. So Allah already told me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already said, if you are da'i ila Allah, if you are one of those who invite others towards Allah, and you tell people if it's wrong to stop doing the wrong, then people are going to like it. They will try to do something to you. So you have to do it. He said, I already know what's going to happen to me. Allah told me in the Quran that a da'i who call towards good, who forbid evil, there will be consequences. I'm fully aware of the consequences. That's why Allah says, وَاصْبِرْ عَلَى مَا أَصَابَكَ. That's the sign of sincerity. If someone says something to you after you call towards good, if someone says something to you or do something to you after you are forbidden from evil, and you retaliate, you're not a mukhlis person. You're not a sincere person. That means you're doing it for name and fame. If you truly done it for Allah, then you will do sabr. Because that's the Prophet's guidelines. How many prophets they got beaten up when they gave da'wah? How many prophets? Sayyidina Nuh used to give da'wah, they used to throw stones at him. And they used to continue throwing stones at him until they used to cover him with the stones. He was covered, buried within the pebbles. And all day he was left there under the pebbles. In the evening, he used to regain his consciousness. He would get up, remove the stones, and give da'wah again. And he said, رَبِّ إِنِّي دَعَوْتُ قَوْمِي لَيْلًا وَنَهَارًا. Oh my Lord, I invited my people day and night for 950 years. 950 years he's done it. So yeah, you have to have sabr. If you don't have sabr after giving da'wah, then you're not sincere. You've done it for your show, your cameras, your name and fame. That's not a da'wah. That's something else. And there will be consequences for that as well. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already told us. So anyway, like I said to you, scholars, they got in trouble. Just recently we came back from Mawara al-Nahar, Transacciana. We visited a grave of a scholar. His name was Muhammad ibn Ahmed al-Sarakhsi from the Farghana Valley in Marghilan. In English they call it Marghilan. When we were going towards his, so I gathered the brothers and sisters who were with me and I told them a little biography about this person. He was from the 10th century. He died in 1090 AD. And Islamic age is about 490 Hijri. So you could say the very early story, 1,000 years ago. This is the story 1,000 years ago. In that region, there used to be the leaders were called the Karavans. The Karavanis. They were Muslims. So one of the leaders, he married one of his slave girls. But he married her when she was in her iddah. She hasn't finished the waiting period. So he's marrying someone when she previously had a relationship with someone else, and she was in her waiting period, iddah. When their iddah finishes, then he could marry her. But he married her, whatever reason. So the Imam, he gave a fatwa, saying that to marry someone in her iddah is wrong and to be considered zina. So can marry someone when their iddah finishes, then you are allowed to propose. That's the Quranic law. That's the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Someone said to me, be careful, because the fatwa that you're giving is the ruler of our area, in the entire area of Farghana Valley. We'll be in trouble. He was arrested and he was put into prison for 15 years. 15 years deprived from his own family members. Why? Because he spoke the truth. Because he established the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He didn't care about what's the principle. He said, you know what, that's the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I have the knowledge, I'm going to tell them. I'm the scholar, I'm the imam, people look up to me, and I'm going to tell the truth. He was called the Shamsul Aim of that area. This is the honorific title. What Shams means sun, and Imam is imam. People should look up to him like everybody look up to the sun. Meaning like he was the leading scholar of that area. Shamsul Aim. He was the sun amongst the scholars. So that's why he gave the fatwa. However, he was arrested, put into prison for 15 years. But subhanAllah, if you read his biography, it's amazing. In the prison, those 15 years, not one day he stopped remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every single day he said, Allah, I've done it for you. He didn't complain, Allah, I called you as good, why are you punishing me? That's our iman. I don't understand. I mean, I spoke the truth, why am I punished here? None of that. Every day he says, it's a test from Allah, for me inviting others towards Allah, forbidding from evil. And guess what? His students were missing him the most. So they used to come and visit him, Shaykh, in our durus, our lessons. Shaykh said, don't worry. So you guys can continue to come, inshallah ta'ala, if they allow you, but I will continue to teach. and he dictated them everything that he knew. Later on, whatever he dictated became mabsut in 30 volumes. And today you could buy this. Something he read to them from his memory, turned into a book without any grammar mistake or any mistake like that. 30 volumes books now sold in Arabic language in the fiqh, which he dictated when he was in prison, just lying in a room and dictating to his students. In 15 years, he wrote 30 volumes of work. That's sincere, that's ikhlas. Remember the name, Imam Saraf, in Google him later on. So subhanAllah, our scholars, when they give fatwas, they get in trouble, but they did not care, because this is what the Prophet of Allah said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He said, أفضل الجهاد كلمة عدل عند سلطان جائر. The second hadith shows you that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is already about to, he sat on his horse and is about to go. He was about to embark on a journey. And he said, please tell me. Even then the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, yes, the best jihad is to speak the truth, or the words of the truth, in front of a tyrant ruler. And subhanAllah, that's how the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you remember, a few weeks ago, we read the hadith of a Sahabi called Aid ibn Amr. Aid ibn Amr, radiyallahu ta'ala, he went to see Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad. Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, he was also a tyrant as well. By the way, he was responsible for the death of who? Hussein radiyallahu ta'ala. When the head of Hussein was separated from his body, Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, it was his order. So you can imagine, what kind of mistake that these people made. Obviously, we don't call them kafir or anything like that, because they made mistakes, but they were still Muslim. But obviously, this is a fisq and sinful thing to do. So anyway, one of the Sahabi went to him before this incident. He gave him the warning that, listen, the Prophet of Allah says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that in sharr al-ri'a al-hukam, out of all the rulers, the one who is harsh is the one most hated in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, إِيَّاكَ لَتَكُونَ مِنْهُ. Please don't be like them. Because if you are hated in the sight of Allah, you are not getting the nusra and the madad and the help of Allah. So get one say, go away, man. What kind of sahabi you are? You are not that kind of sahabi. So he said, this is how some people are. They behave like this. The attitude, they think just because they have some sort of authority, they could boss people. There are some people like this. Just because you have authority, just because you have, you have some sort of position, you cannot rule people like that. That's not Allah. That's not the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's not Allah's law. Is that the more responsibility comes, the more humble you have to be. Have you seen a fruit tree, an apple tree? The more and more fruits comes, the tree humbles. So more and more attributes that you have, you should have more humbleness, more humility. A tree that has no fruits, it's just sticking up, ready for going up to the sky. But as soon as you start getting fruits, bare fruits, and you see the fruits humbling down. Similarly, human being, the more you learn, the more you have taqwa and zuhud and salah, and the more piety that you have, you humble yourself. The more responsibility you have, you humble yourself. When Umar ibn Khattab was appointed to be the Khalif, someone came to Abu Bakr. He said, what are you doing, Abu Bakr? What are you doing? Don't make Umar the Khalifa. He's harsh. Abu Bakr said, Inshallah, the responsibility of leadership will humble you. You watch, he said, Abu Bakr said. The responsibility of imara, and the leadership, it will humble you. And subhanAllah, Abu Bakr was so right, subhanAllah. He was so right. Because the very first time when Umar gave a khutbah, he said, Ayyuhan nas, O people, and then he gave a khutbah. And in the khutbah he said, Man ra'a minkum fiyya i'wijajan falyuqawwimhu. If anybody sees that I am ruling, I'm making any mistake or errors, please straighten it, correct me. One guy got his sword out. He said, hey Umar, you see this sword? I'm going to fix you with my sword. Now you need to picture this, visualize this. Can you imagine King Charles in his very first speech? He gives a talk, and one guy takes his sword out and says, I'll fix you what? Police will arrest him, drag him, grab him, take away, and they will, and King Charles will also say that, yeah, keep him there. That's very rude, lad. No. Umar said, no one said nothing to that man. Umar said, Alhamdulillah. What was that? He said, Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. I'm so happy that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created in the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Someone's going to fix my mistake with the sword. Dunya is temporary, akhirah is everlasting. Do whatever you, if I made a mistake, do it, brother, no problem. Everybody said, wow, Abu Bakr was right. Umar is a changed person. He's not, if this Umar, the Jahiliyyah days, this guy spoke, Umar would have chopped his head off straight away. Everybody knows how Umar is. But this is the Umar. In Islam, this is the Umar as a Khalifa now. Changed person. The responsibility should humble you. Responsibility shouldn't give you the power that you belittle others, you look down on others, and you use your power. No. That's what the Prophet ﷺ said. When there are people like this, go tell them. Tell them on the face. Don't be afraid. Because أفضل الجهاد كلمة عدل عند سلطان جائر. We'll read one more hadith inshallah. الثالث عشر عن ابن مسعود رضي الله تعالى عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن أول ما دخل النقص على بني إسرائيل أنه كان الرجل يلقى الرجل فيقول يا هذا اتق الله ودع ما تصنع فإنه لا يحل لك ثم يلقاه من الغد وهو على حاله فلا يمنعه ذلك أن يكون أكيله وشريبه وقعيدا فلما فعلوا ذلك ضرب الله قلوب بعضهم ببعض ثم قال لعن الذين كفروا من بني إسرائيل على لسان داود وعيسى بن مريم ذلك بما عصوا وكانوا يعتدون كانوا لا يتناهون عن منكر فعلوه لبئس ما كانوا يفعلون ترى كثيرا منهم يتولون الذين كفروا لبئس ما قدمت لهم أنفسهم إلى قوله فاسقون ثم قال كلا والله لتأمرن بالمعروف ولا تنهون عن المنكر ولا تأخذن على يد الظالم ولا تقتلنه على الحق أطرا ولا تقصرنه على الحق قصرا أو ليضربن الله بقلوب بعضكم على بعض ثم ليلعنكم كما لعنهم رواه أبو داود والترمذي وقال حديث حسن. The authority of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he said the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the very first deficiency and faults enter into Israelite is that a man is to meet another man and is to say to him, fear Allah and leave the wrong and the sin that you are committing because you know it is not permissible for you. Then you would meet him the next day and knowing that the person hasn't changed from what he was doing the previous day, he would still hang around with him, eat with him, drink with him, and associate with him. And when they all started doing this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala caused their hearts to deviate from one another. And then the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam recited the Quranic verse that those disbelievers of the Israelite, they were cursed in the tongue of Dawood and Isa, son of Mary, because of the disobedience they have done and because of the transgression they have committed. They would not stop from the evil they were committing. What an evil act they were doing. You will see many of them, they befriend with those who disbelieve. What a horrible thing they have put forward. Till the verse Fasiqun. Then the Prophet ﷺ said, nay, by Allah, you must call towards good. You must forbid others from evil. You must grab the hand of the zalim, the oppressor, and stop his oppressions. And you must speak the truth and always invite towards it. Otherwise, Allah will cause your hearts to deviate from the truth. And Allah will curse you the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cursed those from Banu Israel. So, as you can see, here the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is telling us the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cursed Banu Israel. Banu Israel, the word Israel is the name of Yaqub alayhi salam. Israel is the name of Yaqub alayhi salam. When you say Banu Israel, means the children of Yaqub. The children of Yaqub are Ahlul Kitab, the Yahud. So they were actually the most respected people in that time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honored them being the children of the Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam. Allah honored them by giving them, because they witnessed revelation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praised them so many times in the Quran. Every time you read the Quran, in the Quran, Ya Bani Israel, Allah is talking to them. It's the all children of Israel. And subhanAllah, later Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Musa alayhi salam, who took them out of the bondage and took them out from the punishment of Pharaoh and made them, and took them to the desert. And then Sayyidina Musa passed away, and before that Harun was passed away. Then came Yusha ibn Nun, and he made them enter into the land of Palestine. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed them before that with manna and salwa. So many beautiful things happened to them. However, then they were disgraced. They lost all honor. Why? Because they did not follow the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always remind them, I done this for you and that for you. What did you do? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always remind. The reason why Allah mentioned the stories of Banu Israel, Allah is telling us, oh Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, don't be ungrateful like Banu Israel. Because remember, Allah gave them everything. Food came from paradise into their mouth. They witnessed miracles. I mean, with their own eyes, they crossed the sea. They seen the water parting away. Who could do that? They witnessed many, many miracles. But they disobeyed Allah. They did not call towards good. They didn't forbid evil. They just had this attitude that you can't beat them, join them, and they were doing the sins as well. Don't do that, because if you do it, Allah will cause your house to deviate from the truth, and then He will, all of you collectively will be punished. That's why the Prophet of Allah got really angry, and he used emphasis after emphasis. He said, oh my ummah, don't be like them. Make sure that if you see injustice, speak. If you see wrong, correct it. And if you see right, invite others towards it. Because if you don't do that, then the same punishment came to Banu Israel will come to you as well. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all the tawfiq. There's only one hadith that is not finished, so I didn't see that. I just saw it now. I'm just going to translate it, inshallah, then I'll let you all go. So the hadith is from Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala, who said, Ya ayyuhan nas, innakum taqra'una hadhihi al-ayah. Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala was correcting a perception some people had in his time. Because the Quran said, Ya ayyuhan ladhina amanu, O who you believe, alaykum anfusakum, just look after yourself. Yeah, you are responsible for your own self. لا يضركم من ضل إذا اهتديتم. As long as you are guided, the one who is misguided is not your responsibility. Abu Bakr says, some people they read this verse and they take it literally. Say that if I'm praying my salah, I don't care about what's happening on my right and left. He said, no, you guys are misunderstanding this verse, because I heard the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, إن الناس إذا رأوا الظالم, if the people they see ظالم, oppressor, فلم يأخذوا على يديه, and they don't grab his hand, أوشك أن يعمهم الله بعقاب منه. Very soon Allah will send punishment and He will punish them with it. So don't take this verse literally, because this is not what the verse is trying to say. When Allah, it is our collective duty to call towards good and forbid others from evil. The verse is not telling us that we should stop calling towards good and forbidding evil. On the contrary, the Prophet of Allah is telling us, if we see wrong, we should stop the wrong. If we see right, then we should encourage the right. That's what the Prophet of Allah said. So make sure that you don't misunderstand this verse. This is what Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he said. Subhanallah, Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he doesn't narrate many hadith. But Abu Bakr narrates hadith at a time when nobody else narrates anything. That's his superior knowledge. When everybody's saying the same thing, Abu Bakr will not say the same thing. When everybody's quiet, they don't know what to do, this is when Abu Bakr speaks radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Yeah, Allah gave him that kind of knowledge. So there was a mistake in his time, he corrected that. You could say this is like a tafsir, an interpretation of this verse. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all the tawfiq to call towards good with hikmah, with wisdom. وَمَنْ يُؤْتَ الْحِكْمَةَ with hikmah. Hikmah means wisdom. To give you if you have sincerity, inshallah. But knowledge is something from there. We should learn, inshallah ta'ala, the righteous knowledge, good knowledge, knowledge of the Quran and knowledge of the Sunnah. May Allah give us all of that, inshallah. Subhanallah, bihamdi, subhanallah, bihamdi, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Inshallah, I just want to clarify that